Yeah. How long is it? Yeah. How long is it? Wednesday. You can make a joke about it. Like, I promise it's nice. You should talk about the winter. Yeah. Okay, wait, so for the question, so their like application is really
I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, we canceled the reservation call.
like one of the questions is tell us anything about yourself, what do you do in your story?
Yeah, trust me, we want it. Thank you.
Did they ask you that?
See you again. I know.
What did you say?
No, it became the last night. So, turned out,
Yeah.
that it rained.
Of course.
So I said, so how did you learn about that? So you're saying
They said that's what that sinks.
The sinkhole, right? It's right out here on the right.
So they said that guy's great because of
But yeah, no, otherwise it's gonna be good.
yeah, so it's, you know, you'll get it.
You gotta do it. Yeah, you just go.
Never get back home.
No, exactly. And just this will be my third.
So the other one was for the budget, right? I'm Charles.
You know this guy?
We know this guy as well. He's a good guy.
Kermit, just like the frog.
This is Charles Benson.
I had it first in the
Hey, do it. Mark Meredith.
He's come out from Super Missouri. Do some work over there.
Where?
We're doing
Which station?
Yeah.
We're all good. We're good again.
MIC, baby.
So, I don't know if you'll-
Anybody from the city's all right with
Briefings this week.
MIC?
Shit, all right, we can do it.
All right.
Anybody from Missouri?
Brian, you know Missouri State, be quiet. Paul's not gonna keep
No,
quiet.
you can't be quiet.
Here's the quiet.
He's 7 minutes.
Y'all know the radio.
He said Missouri State.
I went there for
My wife's family's from Millersburg.
You gotta do it. Or you can kick
Little Dixie Lake area.
That's home. I mean, that's
Yeah, you're right.
Get out there.
Channel 13 CBS.
I know.
You know where our tower is?
I know exactly. I worked at Maneater in Missouri, Channel 3. Way out there in the south of town.
Thanks for providing.
Where you
We got a
It's
guy,
outside.
I just went to there. This is the White House.
It's better than the outside.
Best side is that side.
Right.
Yeah.
This goes there.
I think that's the camel there.
You think ours then?
Here's why I said.
Right.
That's right. I actually
I emailed the first, I replied and emailed the last.
Yeah, I heard that.
One of the Isle Nation today, you know?
Where do you want to go?
Right, but I'm hoping you can say.
And our Prime Minister can help you out with anything you need.
And then you kind of like saw it. Yeah, remember you push hard and down there. Yeah. Always something different than we got on the
This is any different than any other.
Exactly, except now.
Back to the side.
You're gonna see, we'll see.
Nobody's taking.
They were Ricardo. We were like way in the back. Unless you know something here. I don't know how they hang out here.
But it depends on what you change. You just did.
We got.
Oh, you already got me ready.
Sweetheart, I took care of you. Martha, you know I got you.
Thank you very much. See you in a few.
And you're in D, right?
This was the restroom there.
Yes. Back there near the castle. We got a new guy, his name is
Yes, yes. Yeah, oh yeah.
I think he was asking us. Oh, that's not.
So I didn't know who it was. I was gonna say, they got, I know you're right.
They were one of their nine. Yeah. These guys aren't scripts. We're not.
Oh, absolutely. Very nice. Just want to understand. Read about how you song right now.
What would it? Take it off?
Take it off again. And you're not using the handle, right?
Thank you for that.
Well, and if that's the case, that's great. Then I have no problem with other NBC people.
I don't know that either. But she's absolutely right. Because I'll be like on the question and all of a sudden I'll have this black part will come in and block my screen. It's not for you.
The other thing is I can download it. We'll do the phone. We understand it. I'll download it.
Wait, it starts at 3, but don't get that, so you're good.
I'm always.
Thanks.
What number am I? So you said.
No, I think that'll be fine. Okay, I'll
I think I had that. Send me that.
sounds good, thanks guys.
Hey, what's up? I have a couple seconds here before we go.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Is he all right? That's likely not to be a Democrat government.
How many times are you gonna watch that, Mary? 50?
Anytime.
So Mary likes cat videos, that's okay.
Well, you know what they say, that if somebody came back from the 50s, to 1950s, and they got to here, and you asked them what was the surprise of them, they would say that every person had a device in their phone that access all knowledge of known human beings. And all they do is look at cat videos, right?
So wait, you're telling me that basically every bit of knowledge on that device, and what do you do with it? Oh, just wait till this whole series is about one week. Every game, 3 times a day, down the driveway, down 2 blocks to 7-Eleven, scratch it. Well, that's the best of it. The atmosphere. Farm there. That's the farmhouse. The guy that owns it passes over billions of dollars. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to take the house. It's like right now, it's got a huge backyard. The neighbors are sitting on probably 5 acres. I mean, where's mine? 30 acres. I can imagine what all that's got to be. They just grab that house at nice. It's just
Can you
separate
probably ask him for help? Can you put this outside up there? He's standing by it for 16 camera. We just need to clamp it on.
only clean
I can grab it. I think it was Doug Mills, but you might be able to do it. I mean, I'm almost all of that. If you want, I have a tall stool behind the ABC chair. Tony, if you need it, there's a tall stool behind the ABC chair. The tall stool behind the at the rack. But it looks like he's going for a ladder. Right, just pop up for a second.
I'll be able to get a second.
Let me just make sure it's good to connect.
I need to put this there up here.
Yeah, because it could be 4 or 5 minutes late. I'm sorry, Terry.
Can you change light bulbs too, sir? Again, y'all got me mistaken for my handyman. Yeah, what channel is that? Channel 5? City and the Sea. So every time City and the Seas. That's how old men get hurt on ladders.
Hey, Charlie, I'm proposing the vision.
You good? Good. What's that?
I'm proposing the vision.
Yes, I am. Where's the lease? Oh, is it good? You good? I'm 1-2, 1-2. Got anything back there? Oh, 90 degrees?
Yeah, you see how it's, I like carrying the side. It says a lot.
Right.
Just the whole unit, they can now spend money on it.
So what are you telling me?
The only thing I can do with the phone is,
Yeah. You don't even have to go see it, just twist the whole thing on the bottom. So twist the camera. There you go. It's all socks. It's uneven?
well, isn't it pointing this way? It's going both ways.
Oh, it does both ways?
Yeah, 360 here.
So what you're telling me is if I can pick my nose or don't pick your nose.
Well, if you want there, and I thought
They've got a the way they should they can fix it as well.
Oh, they've been there a week.
There we go.
You know?
Little up, little up, little down, little down. Left to right. That way.
everyone come?
So we're constantly on the down.
I'll sign off on that. You got the change that? Remember that one?
Can you see it on the phone?
So I got a quick preview of the picture I took, but it won't let me unless I'm done. They only gave us the cheap model, they didn't give us
Let's go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well,
Thank you.
Outstanding. Good man.
Sure, we're good.
Somebody's wearing a hat that looks like Hold on, did you see the milestones last week? Thank you. Congrats. Miss. All right. Oh, I need some. Anyway, I'm on my way to second shift, right? I'm so far from the like it's not even so far over the hill. The whole range. Yeah, that's something you've never done. I've done that before. It's been so long. People need news. They're hungry for the city. I did before.
Try that for that.
They're all the same. So if it's like, excuse me, you can't sit there. You can't sit there. That's a sign.
Yes, I do. See her.
President moved, brought a small group of reporters, not everybody was reporters representing the press corps, and spoke about what he has described as this controversy. He said an important word, he used the word if this actually happened, it would be a major scandal, and I'm paraphrasing it. Here's what he had to say.
So glad.
Good afternoon to you. When we were in the Oval Office last week on the way out, President Trump said to me, what do you think about
Lawmakers, the FBI,
today, you're saying
officials to allow them
this
to
thing may not happen.
I don't know what that means. We're saying 99.9% chance this thing carrying on. I would certainly not be optimistic based on
In fact, yesterday he called me, I think, a snap meeting with Rob Rosenfeld, the Deputy Attorney General, and Chris Wray, the FBI Director, to
tell them point blank, listen, you are going to provide congressional investigators with the documents that they want in terms of what led up to the Pfizer request to start surveilling members of the president's campaign. He instructed Chief of Staff John Kelly to get together with the DOJ, the FBI, the Director of National Intelligence, and congressional investigators like Trey Gowdy and Devin Nunes and give them everything that they want. The president also very strong today about the idea that there was an FBI informant who was trying to infiltrate his campaign. Listen here. Sources that I've talked to this morning don't have high hopes for a meeting with the DOJ, the FBI, and the DNI. People offer to get those documents out, they can say, this just might be another way for the DOJ to stonewall. Thank you. Sean, what are you talking about, the Hillside?
No, where Old Channel 7 used to be right at, Avon, Connecticut, you know, the car wash and Burger King.
Oh, yeah, sure. That was 17. Oh, that's right. Yeah, on the other side.
It's really
17.
expensive real estate value.
Me too. And they were like 6 minutes. Why are they trying to move the trailer park out? Yeah, so seven.
Well, my trailer's been, it's almost ready for storage, preservation.
Take the wheels off and shit.
My cousin couldn't come over and he passed years ago, and I said, well, leave it alone. I don't want to pay him.
He does a better job on skirts.
The problem is, you know, start getting rats and snakes and stuff like that.
Yeah. We could always sell them.
Rats and snakes?
Sell the Kevin Clan, he likes. Oh, is he? Who's that? Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Hi, how are you? I'm standing here by myself in front of the room. Live on you. Entire wall right here. And now I'm gonna have pregnancy break.
Just think of all the people at home.
That doesn't bother me, actually. I don't care about that. I always look at live audience.
She seemed really, really nice.
We'll talk about this.
Yeah. You get two
I'm standing up.
Yeah, we could give somebody there all the time.
Yeah, a little less stress on you.
So much for the rest, we get a babysitting kind of thing. Yeah. It's just really good.
Yeah, they're fun. It's good. Right? We were right down in front of West Point? West Point, yeah. And I have one.
get out there on a sunny day. At the third hour,
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As you know, the President has just concluded a productive meeting with South Korean President Moon. This is the 6th visit between them. The two leaders had significant conversations on important issues, including the scheduled U.S.-North Korea summit. Both leaders are committed to working together to accomplish the common goal of complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. As you also know, it's commencement season, and the President and First Lady would like to extend a special congratulations to World War II veteran Bob Barger. 68 years since he last sat in a classroom, Bob graduated from the University of Toledo this month after a review of his transcripts from the late 1940s showed he completed enough courses to qualify for an associate's degree. As the President said in his letter to Bob, his hard work, diligence, and passion to learn exemplify the greatest generation's commitment to excellence and the American spirit. As you know, the President took a number of questions earlier, so we'll keep this short today, and with that, I'll get started. Jonathan.
Sarah, do you agree with the do you agree with the South Korean official who said that there would be a 99% chance that this summit with Kim Jong-un comes off? And how will the President ultimately make the decision about whether or not to go?
The President addressed this earlier directly to you and said that we'll see what happens. We continue to prepare for the summit, and if they want to meet, we will certainly be ready. And the President, I think, rightly stated that if North Korea agrees to denuclearize, that it can be a bright future for them. But we remain clear-eyed in these negotiations, but we continue to prepare, and we'll see what happens.
What preconditions, though, does he have? What does he see that the North Koreans have to do to make him make that trip? And let me just ask you, I know the challenge coins were made. Was it premature to make those coins commemorating the summit?
So on the first part of your question, the President's laid out what he wants to see as a commitment to denuclearization. That has not changed. In terms of the coins, this is not something that the White House has anything to do with. We don't have any input on the design, the manufacture, the process in any capacity. This is a standard procedure by the White House Communications Agency, which is made up exclusively of career military officials, and these coins are designed and done by that organization. Pamela?
Thank you, Sarah. Why would the U.S. guarantee the safety of a dictator whose regime is a serial human rights abuser and is responsible for the recent death of an American college student? Why is that the morally right thing to do?
Again, the goal and the purpose of these conversations would be to have complete and total denuclearization of the peninsula, and the President has been upfront about that part of the conversation, and we're going to continue to move forward.
Just to follow up,
Major,
so Sarah, really quickly.
Sorry, I'm going to keep moving just because we're going to be really short today. Major, go ahead.
Sarah, you talked about preparations for the summit. Can you describe for us how the President himself is personally preparing? Who is he working with? How much time does he devote on a daily basis to get ready for the underlying themes, questions, and difficulties of a summit of this magnitude?
As you all know, he spent a significant amount of time meeting both in person and having regular phone conversations with other world leaders like you saw today with South Korean President Moon, as well as he has constant and regular meetings with his national security team. This is something they talk about on a daily basis and will continue to in preparation. Jordan?
Thanks, Sarah. I want to ask about this meeting the Chief of Staff is setting up for lawmakers regarding the documents that they've requested about the Russian investigation. Can you say what specific documents the lawmakers will be allowed to see? Chairman Nunes has requested all documents related to this intelligence source. Will he get to see all of the documents?
That's something that you would have to ask the Department of Justice. I can tell you the President asked Chief of Staff Kelly to set up the meeting. It is scheduled to take place on Thursday of this week. The individuals that are expected to attend are Chairman Nunes, Chairman Gowdy, FBI Director Wray, DNI Director Coates, and DOJ official Ed O'Callaghan. No one from the White House staff will attend. Blake?
The North Koreans are bringing in some journalists to view what they say is the dismantling of a nuclear test site. Curious if the administration believes that site is already damaged, as some are led to believe, and what exactly the administration's response is to this.
I don't have anything that I can comment on that at this front. Steve?
Yes, Sarah, can you tell us what was the outcome of the discussions between the South Korean president and President Trump today about the size and cost of U.S. troops in South Korea?
The focus, at least in the meeting that I was in, that specifically did not come up, but certainly conversations primarily centered around preparations towards the scheduled summit. Darling.
You said that no one from the White House staff will attend the meeting on Thursday. Does that not mean that the Chief of Staff, Kelly, would not attend?
He was charged with coordinating and making sure it took place, but at this point is not expected to attend. Michael.
Can you respond a little bit, though, to why no Democrats would be at that meeting? If the White House is putting its imprimatur on it, the Democrats have said that they think it's inappropriate to have a meeting set up with just Republicans in the Justice Department. Is the White House, would the White House welcome Democrats to be at that meeting?
We'll keep you posted. My understanding is they haven't been the ones requesting this information.
They say that to the extent that the White House is sort of brokering a deal between the Justice Department and
I hardly call brokering a deal to set up, help coordinate a meeting and help Congress receive information that they've requested. To my knowledge, the Democrats have not requested that information, so I would refer you back to them on why they would consider themselves randomly invited to see something they've never asked to. Jeff?
Sarah, the President spoke at length this morning about his vision for a solution to dealing with Chinese company ZTE. Both Republicans and Democrats on the Hill are criticizing that and saying that he is bowing to pressure from Beijing. Senator Schumer, I believe, called it a wet noodle solution. What's the White House's response to that criticism?
The U.S. and China relationship has a number of issues that we're constantly having conversations. National security, trade, ZTE is among one of those, and this is something that the President has asked Commerce to look into, and he's outlined some possible actions against ZTE by Commerce, but at this point they're still in discussion, and there's nothing else to add beyond what the President already said this morning.
To their criticism, though, about what he has said on Capitol Hill?
Like I've said a few times before, Senator Schumer is not somebody this White House is probably ever going to take advice from on how to negotiate or get a good deal on anything, particularly based on his track record. And certainly, I think his weakness when it comes to China. We finally have a president who's actually calling out China on their unfair trade practices, and not just calling them out, but actually doing something about it and aggressively pushing forward in negotiations, something that we haven't seen in decades. And so Senator Schumer is probably the last person we would call and ask for on how to make a deal. Anita?
I wanted to change topics. I wanted to get your comment on this incident that happened at the EPA earlier today. They were having a national summit on water contaminants. At least 2 reporters were barred from going into the event, and 1 was forcibly removed. I wondered if you had a comment. Do you approve of how that was handled, and will anyone be speaking to to the press office over there about it?
Certainly we'll look into the matter. I've seen the reports. I know EPA has put out a statement. At this point, I would refer you to them as we look into the incident. I don't have a lot of visibility since certainly we weren't there and we're in other meetings here, but something we are certainly going to look into. But at this point, I'd refer you to the statement the EPA put out. I can't speak to a situation that I don't have a lot of visibility into, but I would refer you back to their statement. Stephen?
Sir, back to North Korea just for a second. The president of the Oval Office said that he was disappointed that after his second meeting with Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un seemed to have a change of attitude. Does the White House have any theories as to why that might be? What, is China a spoiler, and why?
The president spoke to this directly. There's nothing else to add at this point. Mike?
Can you add anything more about the president's comments? He said that China, South Korea, and Japan were willing to invest very large sums of money into North Korea. Can you add anything more to that? Is the U.S. planning to add to that very large sum? Can you describe what kind of money he's talking about there?
I don't have anything to add beyond the president's comments. I think
Can you talk at all about what President Moon said about Kim, about the new tenor coming out of Pyongyang, what President Trump learned in the meeting with President Moon?
we felt like the conversations today were productive, and again, we're going to continue in preparations, and we'll see what happens. Hallie?
Sarah, to follow up on Anita, and then a question as well to you, is there any situation, barring a security incident, in which you feel the White House feels it is appropriate to physically touch or physically handle a
I'm not going to
reporter?
weigh into random hypotheticals that may or may not exist. I don't know any information about this specific incident. You're asking me to speak to a blanket possibilities, which I'm not going to do, nor would I ever ask or expect you to do. John?
My other question was actually on the
Sorry, I'm
the
going to do
DOJ
one
demand.
question at a time today because we got short on time. John, go ahead. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Thank you, Sarah.
Nope. Sorry, I'm going to keep moving. We're tight
There's
on
been
time. Thanks.
considerable discussion back and forth about the tenure of Speaker Ryan, whether he will relinquish his gavel early and have a new election of a speaker before the elections. Conservative lawmakers on Capitol Hill made it clear that they want Ryan to stay. Congressman Warren Davidson said that's unfair to the new members coming in. And he also said that there should be a discharge position so members can have an up and down vote on repeal of the Affordable Care Act and immigration. Does the president agree with the statements of Congressman Davidson and the conservatives among House Republicans?
I haven't spoken with him specifically about that statement, so I wouldn't want to wage into that right now. John?
Thanks a lot, Sarah. The president earlier today in that press availability spoke about the protections that he's prepared to offer to Kim Jong-un, not only personally but also for his country. In preparing for these meetings and when the summit actually takes place, does human rights play any consideration in the meeting that the president will have with Kim Jong-un?
I'm not going to get ahead of the discussion that the president and Kim Jong-un could have, but certainly we would expect that would come up and be addressed. Charlie?
Following up on John's earlier question, does the president back Speaker Ryan's decision to stay in office until after the election, or is he concerned that there's maybe a period of time when he's not getting as much done as he could, just serving as a lame duck speaker?
Yeah, at this point, that's something for Speaker Ryan and members of Congress to make that determination, not something that the White House has weighed into at this point. Francesca?
Thank you, Sarah. We heard from President Trump before that meeting with President Moon, but after sitting down with him, does President Trump feel more like this summit is worth having and that it will happen? And what is the White House's drop-dead date, so to speak, for deciding whether or not to go to the summit?
Again, we're going to continue to prepare, and we'll see what happens. There's really nothing to add beyond that at this point. We'll take one last question. Ben?
Thank you, Sarah. I wanted to ask about Gaza. The violence continued today. Does the White House have any plans to meet with the Palestinian Authority?
There are no scheduled meetings at this point, but if something changes, we'll certainly let you guys know. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
All right, folks, thank you very much for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. You guys heard that the president was speaking this morning. It was at a meeting with South Korean President President Moon, and they were having a discussion regarding North Korea. That's going to be uploaded in just a few minutes. It was not live streamed. They did not allow live streaming at that event. So we're going to be uploading it in just a few minutes. So stay tuned here at Golden State Times. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel and you guys smack the like button. Thank you so much for the moderators coming out, keeping the chat clean and enjoyable for everyone. Also, thank you those that use Super Chat to support the channel. You guys are amazing. There's a few ways to support the channel. One way is Super Chat. Another way is PayPal. The link's in the description below. But the best way is by sharing this live stream on social media, making sure that you guys smack the like button, making sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, you guys click the notification bell. That gives us a greater reach, and it helps out the channel immensely. So thank you so much to everyone that did that for the live stream. You guys shared it on social media, Facebook, Gab, Twitter. You guys send it through email and text message. There's tons of ways of doing it, so thank you so much for all of your support. Again, we're going to be uploading the meeting that President Trump had with President Moon, where he answered quite a few questions regarding North Korea, regarding the Russian investigation and spies in the campaign and all that crazy stuff that is coming out. Just today, another news broke that there might be a second spy that was in the Trump campaign. Some people are calling them spies. Other people are saying that it was just an informant, which is basically the same exact thing. But, you know, who knows? This is just starting to snowball, and Mueller investigation is looking more and more like it's going to end. It's going to end soon. So stay tuned here at Golden State Times, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.